Okay, now we are beginning the unit on transversals. So let's talk about what that is. A transversal is a line that intersects one or two more lines, and when it intersects two or more lines, special angles with special names are made. So if you notice right here, that purple highlighted line, that's a transversal. All right, so let's look at some examples, let's look at the different types. So in the figure to the right, the exterior angles are highlighted in purple. So let me erase so you can see. This is what it looked like before. So the exterior angles here are angle 1, angle 2, angle 8, and as you can see at the bottom there, angle 7. So those are all the exterior angles. They are on the outside. They're on the outside of the two lines. Okay, next we have the interior angles. So these angles are on the inside. So these are on the inside or between the two lines. And as you can see, we have angle 4, angle 3, angle 5, and angle 6. So they're all right there. See? All right. Corresponding angles. So here we have angles that are in the same position. So they're in the same position. What I mean by that is, if you look over here, you see you have a group of 4 angles, and then you have a group of 4 angles. So 2 and 6 are in the same position. They're both in the top right corner. So again, angle 2 and angle 6, they are what we call corresponding angles. Okay. Also, we can see angle 1 and angle 5 are in the same spot. They're in the, if you look at the groups again, they're in the top left corner of each group of angles. So that's going to be angle 1 and angle 5. And if you look here, you can see angle 4 and angle 8. So again, if you look at the groups, they're both in the bottom left corner of their groups. And then if you look, you see angle 3 and angle 7. So they're both in the bottom right corner of their respective groups. So angle 3 and angle 7. So that's what a corresponding angle is, or two corresponding angles are. Consecutive interior angles, also called same side interior. So they are on the same side of the transversal. So I'm gonna write that, of the transversal. Okay, so for example, we have angle 4 and angle 5. Those two are what we call consecutive interior angles. We also have angle 3 and angle 6, these guys right here. Alternate interior angles. So the word alternate means different sides. Notice, stop, different sides of transversal. All right, so you need two angles that are on different sides of the transversal, like this one and this one. You see how they're on different sides of the transversal? All right, so, and then they're also on the inside, the interior of the two lines. So angle 4 and angle 6. And then you'll also see, hold on, you'll also notice that angle 5 and angle 3 are on opposite sides of the transversal. Remember, this line is the transversal. So angle 5 and angle 3. So those two are examples of alternate interior angles. All right, now we want alternate exterior angles. So it's pretty much the same concept. We want different sides of the transversal. So if you look, and then also it says exterior, which means outside. Don't forget that means outside. So angle 2, and angle 8. They're on the outside of the two lines, and they're on different sides of the transversals. So that's going to be angle 2 and angle 8. Okay, actually, let me take that back. There we go. And then also we have angle 7 right here and angle 1 right there. So they're on the outside of the two lines, but they're also on different sides of the transversal. So you could also have angle 1 and angle 7. Okay. Now we have vertical angles. You guys already know what this is, okay? So don't get brand new on me. So you can see right here, this makes an X, and then on one side of the X we have 1, on the other side of the X we have a 3. Those are vertical angles. So vertical angles would be angle 1 and angle 3. And you already know that vertical angles are equal to each other. They're congruent. So here we have 4 and 2. Those are vertical angles. So angle 4 is congruent to angle 2. And then here we have angle 5 and angle 7. They're vertical angles, so they're also congruent to each other. And then lastly, we have angles 6 and 8. So they're vertical, so that means they're also congruent to each other. Okay, so that's vertical angles. Supplementary angles, aka linear pair. Don't forget that supplementary angles equal 180. So supplementary angles, linear pair, they both equal 180 degrees. So that would be part plus part equals 180. All right, so they're gonna look like this. So if we look here, we'll see, actually I'll start with this one. So these two angles, you see how they make a line? That means they're a linear pair, or you could also say they're supplementary. So angle 1, so the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is 180 degrees. Okay, so angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. You could also say angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary, or you could say that they are a linear pair. Okay, you could also say, I'll just leave it there, that these two are also a linear pair, angle 1 and angle 4. Okay, I'm not going to write all these down. It would take forever. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying. So you could also say, let's see, angle 4 and angle 3 are supplementary, right? So there are a bunch of different ways you could match them up, but just make sure that you realize that they have to make a straight line. Okay, so I'm going to change up the instructions for this particular part of the notes. So if the measure of angle 1, actually I'm going to do it like this, angle 1 is 120 degrees. And I want you, before I even continue, I want you to notice these markings. Those markings mean that these lines are parallel. So line L and K are parallel. And again, that means parallel. Okay, so lines K and L are parallel. That's what those arrows mean. Okay, so if angle 1 is 120 degrees, how much is angle 3? It's also 120. All right, and since those lines are parallel, we will also assume and know that angle 5 is 120 and angle 7 is 120. So all of those angles equal 120 degrees. All right, so now we know that angle 1 is 120. We know that angle 1 and angle 4 are supplementary, so that means that angle 4, well, let's see, 180 minus 120 is 60 degrees, which means angle 4 is 60 degrees. That also means angle 2 is 60 degrees. Oh, sorry, y'all. So sorry to your eardrums. And angle 8 is 60 degrees, as is angle 6. So if you know one angle, you can know them all, as long as the lines are parallel. Okay, moving on to the next set of instructions. Name every pair of corresponding angles from the figure above. So corresponding angles are the angles that match up. So angle 4 matches up with angle 8. So angle 4 and angle 8. Oh, and another thing, when lines are parallel, if the angles are corresponding, they're also congruent. Okay, so let's see if I can erase this without erasing everything. All right. What else? We can see that angle 1 and angle 5 are also corresponding. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. We can also see angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding. So angle 3, and angle 7 are congruent. And then we see that angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding, which means they are also congruent. And angle 6. Okay, so those are all the corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are congruent when you're talking about parallel lines. So I'm just going to put that there. All right, name every pair of alternate interior angles. So alternate interior angles means they're on different sides of the transversal, and then they should be on the inside or this area. Remember, this is the interior. All right, so I'm just going to shade that in so we can see what we're doing here. And then I'm also going to extend the transversal a bit. Okay. So, alternate interior angles. We can see here that angle 3 and angle 5 are on different sides of the transversal, and they're also on the interior. So that's going to be angle 3 and angle 5. All right, and a cool thing about alternate interior angles is that they are also congruent. So they're also equal to each other. Okay, and then we also see that angle 2 and angle 8 are alternate interior angles. All right, and that's it. All right, so next we have alternate exterior angles. So this time we're going to be looking at the exterior, which is the outside. So it's not between the two lines, it's outside. And again, this is the transversal. So we need, let's see, angle 1 and angle 7. They're on different sides of the transversal, but they're also on the exterior. And just like with alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles are also equal to each other. They're congruent to each other, so this is still part equals part. And also, we have angle 4 and angle 6. And they are also alternate exterior, which means they're also equal to each other. Okay. So now we have consecutive interior angles. So let's take a look at consecutive interior angles. So consecutive means they're on the same side, don't forget. So let's see, it says interior, so let me make sure I'm on the interior, or between. Interior means between the lines, and consecutive means they're on the same side. So I can see that 3 and 8 are on the same side of the transversal. So that's going to be angle 3 and angle 8. So those two. Now the thing about consecutive interior angles is if you add them together, they equal 180. So they are supplementary. All right, so the other two would be angle 2 up here, angle 2 and angle 5. So you can see that right here, angle 2 and angle 5. So we also know that angle 2 and the measure of angle 5 also equal 180, because again, we have this part plus part equals 180, and that goes for consecutive interior angles. Okay, perpendicular transversal theorem. Let me erase this real quick. So basically this one just says if a line is perpendicular to one line, then it's perpendicular to both lines if they're parallel. Okay? So that's that. And don't forget that these little arrows right here mean parallel. Okay, some examples.